It may come as a surprise to some of us that offering criticism is not just a virtue, but it's actually a mitzvah. In Parshat Kedoshim, we read the familiar words of Hocheach Tochiach et Amitecha, that we are meant to reprove our fellow. Rabbi Lamb reflects on this mitzvah and elevates two features of it based on the language of Hocheach Tochiach. The first is that the word hochacha can also mean to prove something, not just to reprove, but to prove something. And here, Rabbi Lamb suggests that when we are offering feedback to someone on something that we think they could improve upon, we first need to verify or check our assumptions. We need to prove whether or not we are correct in making the judgment that we have of the other person. Instead of presuming guilt, we need to proceed with curiosity to try and understand what transpired, what took place, so that we can have a more accurate understanding of the reality, so that we are not falsely judging or accusing someone else of something that they did not do, because that, of course, would devolve to a place of great disagreement and hurt. The second part that Rabbi Lamb notes with regard to the language of Hocheach Tochiach et Amitecha has to do with this doubling of the language, the Hocheach Tochiach. Why is there this twofold language? And he suggests that it has to do with the root of the word vikuach, which is a dialogue or a debate between two people. When it comes to criticizing someone else, that's certainly a most difficult art that requires the best of intentions to try and not reprove, or not just reprove, but really to improve the other person, not to put them down, but to help put them up. But the most difficult art of criticism is not with regard to others, but with regard to oneself. How do we criticize ourselves in a way that allows us to still have a positive, constructive self-awareness and self-perception? Rabbi Lamb points to the great Baal Shem Tov, who taught that we arrive at self-criticism of ourselves through our criticism of others. He explains the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot of Ezehu Chacham Halomed Mikol Adam. Who is wise? The one who learns from every man. When you look into a mirror, the Baal Shem Tov tells us, you see all your own faults and deficiencies. The shape of your cheeks, your complexion, your teeth, etc. When you look at another person, you notice their faults. But you should really be treating the other person as a mirror, because indeed you recognize, or I should say we recognize our own faults in the faults that we see in others. It's human nature for us only to see deficiencies in our others which we ourselves possess to a greater or less degree. Our own faults sensitize us to them in others. And so what it means to be a chacham, to be a wise person, is to learn from every other person. When we see their failings, we know that we ourselves have something to correct. The criticism of others, if undertaken with this spirit, really leads to a healthy self-criticism, where we are pushing ourselves closer to our best ideal selves. May we appreciate the debate or the dialogue, the two-way street of Hocheach Tochiach et Amitecha as we reflect and internalize upon this important mitzvah this week.